Man alive, look at all these comics. This is Groo in 1991. Hi, I'm Darren, these are my hands, and this is GrooTube, where we celebrate the art of Sergio Aragonés. Today I have out all of the Groo the Wanderer comics that were published in 1991. I want to take a look at them all and determine the highlights of 1991 as far as Groo the Wanderer goes. So let's get these organized and start looking at some comics. 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, issue 84. So we start 1991 with a 3-issue miniseries, The Septer of King Cetro. Before we get into the story even, I want to look at the cover. This is a really neat drawing of dumb Groo. I like his mouth. I like his dumb-looking eyes. I like his fingers scratching his head, how it looks very noodly. This is a really big picture of Groo's face with not a ton of detail. So it kind of gets into that detail density thing that I was talking about in one of my previous episodes. It's kind of awkward looking because of the lack of detail at this size of head, but it works for me and I like it. Compare his face detail with his sword detail and you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. In the background, Rufferto is being stolen away by Tarzan and his crew. Look at that poor doggo. All right, let's open it up. And in it, we follow a story arc where Groo joins a fray and is tasked by the king to return to the castle to fetch his royal scepter. But after a blow to the head, he loses his memory. Take a look at Groo's eyes here. Groo? What is a Groo? Pal and Drum and Taranto exploit his lost memory. Check out Rufferto's reaction here. I do not have a dog. What? But Pal learns of the king's scepter and decides that it would be better for him if Groo regained his memory. This issue is overflowing with mendicant jokes. Meanwhile, Gruella prepares a final attack on the king, who without his scepter is destined to lose the battle. Okay, here we have issue 74 with Gruella on the cover. To me, it's not quite as appealing as issue 73 was. It's a fine cover, but it's a basic cover. All right, let's look inside. And here we start with a Sergio intro from his studio. In 1991, this was actually a very rare occurrence, so it's kind of cool to see. In issue number 74, second in the 3-part story, we find Cetros prime ministers raising an army to stage a coup, while Pal argues with Taranto over how best to get rich off of Groo. I really do like this little character, one of Taranto's gang here. And I think he shows up in a few comics, but he's not as recurring of a character as I would like to see. That'd be cool to see this guy all over the place. Now this is a scary set of panels here. Groo preparing to roast Rufferto. Yikes. Pal convinces the prime ministers to make Groo king with the Scepter of Cetros, and Gruella loses the battle and King Groo orders her execution. As much as the Scepter of King Cetros trilogy is a story about the manipulation of Groo, about kingdoms going to war, about conniving prime ministers and conniving villains, this really also is a story about Rufferto and Groo, their relationship, their friendship, and what happens to Rufferto when Groo isn't there to be his hero. Issue number 75, a classic cover, evil Groo on the throne holding the Scepter of Cetros. Let's take a look inside. Another intro page. And Gruella with her head on the chopping block. What pirates? In issue number 75, as Gruella is about to be executed, Groo gets whacked on the head and regains his memory. He immediately stops the execution. Look, Rufferto with teeth. The evil prime ministers put Cetro, Gruella, Pal, and Drum in the dungeon and then split up Gruella's kingdom as well. Look at those teeth. That's just crazy. Groo makes up dumb laws and frustrates those prime ministers who release Pal and Drum. The reunion. Rufferto hides the scepter, Gruella tricks Groo into releasing her, and everyone has a great battle at the end with each other, and Groo joins the fray just for fun. Gruella even wields a sword. The learned man makes a mistake but once, but the truly stupid keep practicing until they get it right. So, the Septer of King Cetros trilogy. It's a good start to 1991. Maybe stretched a bit too long, but that's just my opinion. I don't really go in for the miniseries. If I had my way, they'd all be single-shot stories. Speaking of single-shot stories, here is issue number 76, The Mines of Minas. The sage tells a story to two travelers crossing the desert. Once the desert was a lake, and a prosperous mining town was beside it. I love me some Firelight, and while this shows off Sergio's wonderful art, it really shows off Tom Luth's wonderful coloring jobs. Groo was hired to protect the silver shipments, but Taranto kept fooling Groo and stealing the cargo. Now this is something that we don't often get from Sergio, but when we do, it's wonderful. How he really changes up his panel layout. And so in this one, we get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mini panels of Groo thinking. Fantastic. Groo had the idea to send the silver across the lake by boat, but soon pirates began looting the ship. Again, these wonderfully drawn and colored Firelight panels down in the mines. Beautiful work, Sergio and Tom. Groo, wanting to find the pirates, thinks they are hiding in the mine, so he drains the lake, floods the mines, and destroys the town's prosperity. The sage leaves the travelers, just as the former townspeople, turned cutthroats and thieves, prepare an ambush. There is a lesson to be learned from every bit of misfortune. You know what? If I'm going to pit the Mines of Minas against the Septer of King Cetros, I'm going to give it to the Mines of Minas. Let's see how the rest of the comics do. Check it out. Issue number 77, Rufferto's Magic Wish. This is just such a unique story in the Rufferto saga. I can't help but say it's one of my favorite Groo comics from the era. Rufferto rescues a magic gnome who grants him his wish of being human so that he can always be with Groo. I think this is an excellent drawing of Rufferto. I like the hatching. I like the shape of the doggo. Long, skinny legs, bullet-shaped body, peanut head. While this may not be the exact classic representation of Rufferto that I love so much, I really do like this drawing. And we might as well note, written by Mark Evanier. Okay, we can say it. Rufferto man, he's a little bit creepy looking. And I know that's supposed to be hair up there, and the hair is supposed to look like ears. I don't know. I just don't like it. Groo and Rufferto get a job in a mine, and the boss of the mine enlists Groo in a plot to kill his father and wife so that he will own the mine. Groo gets trapped in the mine, and Rufferto has to give up his wish to save him. Then the boss's plans are ruined by Groo. Good old Rufferto, sacrificing his wish to rescue his beloved Groo. Rufferto's Magic Wish. It really is a neat idea for a comic. One thing I have a hard time getting past, though, is the way that Rufferto acts. When he's a dog, it's okay, but when he's a man acting the same way, that's just weird. You know, friends, I once thought that the late 80s were the peak of Groo the Wanderer, but this fall, as I've been reading through all the Epic comics, I think there's some really awesome stuff still to come. But you know me, I'm a fan like you, and I love all things Groo. It was my plan on doing all 10 comics in one video, but I think I'm going to cut it off at 5 comics right now, and maybe next week I'll come back with the other 5 comics from 1991. Apparently, I Can't Add. We'll take a good look at them too, and I'll give you my thoughts on the year 1991 in Groo Comics. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Groo comic from 1991 is. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you have notifications turned on, because I will be back again soon with another GrooTube. Take care, everyone. Hit him in the head.